Hey everyone, welcome, I am MisterBo, and in today's video we're going to be talking about The Division 2. So it got its proper unveiling yesterday at the Ubisoft E3 press conference, and they have updated their website with a lot of information, so we're going to be going through that in this video. So if you don't already know, The Division 2 is going to be set in DC. It is set 6 months after the collapse in New York, so it's no longer winter, it's the heat of summer, but you'll still be seeing all the Black Friday and winter decorations littered around, which kind of gives this game a creepy feel to it. The description for the story in The Division 2 says this: Washington D.C. is on the brink of collapse. Lawlessness and instability threaten our society, and rumors of a coup in the capital are only amplifying the chaos. All active Division agents are desperately needed to save the city before it's too late. Gear up and save DC. You are a member of the Division, an elite group of civilian agents charged with being the last line of defense. With DC at risk, it is time to gear up and use your unique skills to take on this new threat. So a brand new setting that's going to introduce a lot of new ways to play. It's going to be sort of more open. There's going to be different environments and biomes. So you might have a lush green area with trees and things, something we didn't see in the Division 1. And I'm sure we'll get inside building combat and close quarters like what we had in the Division 1. So of course, with a new location means new enemy factions. Now they're only talking about one at this current time, and that is the True Sons, a group of parliamentary warlords bent on using their combat expertise and overwhelming firepower to dominate their enemies and expand their territory. Smart and organized, the True Sons are led by a former JTF officer whose ruthlessness and combat prowess makes him and his combatants a horrifying force. Now I'm assuming there will also be some other factions like we saw in the Division 1. Obviously in the Division 1 we had the Rioters, we had the Rikers, and we had the Cleaners. So along with all of that, we got the news that the Division 2 is gonna feature 8-player raids, a first for this series. Now in the Division 1, the endgame content was in the form of incursions, which was sort of a sit and defend whilst a load of enemies come at you and then fight a boss. Hopefully raids in the Division 2 are more akin to what we've seen in other games like Destiny, where they're going to be mechanic driven engagements where we have to work our way through maybe various bosses up to a final boss. Now a major complaint in the Division 1 were that enemies were bullet sponges and they just kind of looked like a normal person. Well, I think they're trying to get around that by making enemies like the one you're seeing on screen have massive bulky armor that you can slowly shoot off, meaning that yes, they are a bullet sponge, but it's not like they're just an average dude. They do have this sort of juggernaut suit on. Now it's also been confirmed that PvP is returning. The Dark Zone is making a return, and it's going to be heavily improved upon because there were some problems with the Dark Zone in the Division 1. A lot of grieving. There wasn't really an incentive to go in there unless you were a high level, and near the end of the game they actually made it so you couldn't go rogue unless you actually opted into going rogue, which I personally didn't like. Hopefully they can introduce something new into the Dark Zone to make it a little bit more fresh and to make it a little bit more balanced for people who maybe haven't grinded the game out. I would personally like to see the return of survival. There's no confirmation on that at this current time, but I think that was one of the standout modes in the Division that a lot of people liked, and it could work really well in a new setting with maybe some tweaks and adjustments, especially with Battle Royale being so popular as it is. Now with a new game also introduce brand new skills for you to use. That includes things like the Assault Drone, an unmanned device that can be controlled remotely and sent to unleash a special brand of hell on unwitting enemies. You then have the Chem Launcher. The Chem Launcher shoots various chemicals that disperse upon impact. Its effects vary, from explosive vapors and corrosive acids to repairing nanobots. Choose wisely and neutralize any situation. The Hive. While primarily a defensive tool, the offensive version is called the Wasp Hive, where small drones are launched to cause devastating effects to targets within an area. And finally, the Seeker Mine. Once activated, this mine locks onto the closest enemy target in range and rolls along the ground in their direction, detonating it when it gets close enough. Now just like with the Division 1, the game really starts when you hit level 30. By that time you've probably done the campaign, and then you can start grinding your way through gear, completing the end game activities. So once you've hit that cap of level 30, you unlock the ability to pick between unique signature weapons and additional skills that offer new ways to play. The first being the Survivalist. They are equipped with a precision crossbow as their signature weapon to take down their targets even in the harshest of environments. You then have the Demolitionist, which are focused on disrupting enemy plans and entrenched positions using a grenade launcher as their signature weapon. Finally, the Sharpshooter. Sharpshooters can change the tide of battle from afar using a powerful sniper rifle as their signature weapon. Now in the Division 2, endgame is made up of PvP, that's both the Dark Zone and I assume the new PvP they introduced in the Division 1, where it's 4v4 and you fight it out over control points. There's also new co-op activities spread out through the world, and clans. Agents are more powerful together, so take advantage of not only new ways to play with, but connect with other players. So that is a new feature in this game. They also say that the endgame is going to be always evolving. New content will be added regularly to the Division 2, and players will have access to a full year of free story-driven missions, map expansions, and new game features. And that is a major thing. It seems like a lot of games nowadays are going for that free DLC plan. And it's nice to see we are going to be getting more story content after the main campaign, which I know a lot of people wanted from the Division 1. More map expansions, we only got one in the Division 1 and that was near the end of its life cycle, so more map expansions is always a welcome. And then of course, new game features, possibly things like new modes. In the Division 1 we saw the Underground get added, we saw the survival game mode I just talked about, and then we saw the PvP game mode where 4 teams fight it over 3 control points, so we'll be getting more things like that as well through that first year of content. And then I assume if this game does really well, they'll go into a second year of content as well. The Division 2 has a benefit of being a sequel. Obviously they learnt a lot from the first game, and whilst they fixed most of it in the first game, there's a lot they can improve on and hopefully implement into this game. Though we know how things have worked out before for sequels, just take a look at Destiny 2. Now the final thing is, yes, there's going to be a beta for the Division 2 and you can sign up right now. I'll leave a link in the description below which will take you to the Division website. Basically log in with your Uplay account and you'll be registered for the beta. We don't have any concrete details on when that might be. With the Division 1 we had an alpha and then we had a couple of betas before the launch of the game, so we can probably expect the same thing here. So are you excited for the Division 2? Did you play the first one? Are you going to hop into the second one? What do you think about the introductions of 8-player raids? Does that excite you? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to give the like button a big old hug, subscribe for more gaming content and coverage, boop that bell so you never miss a video. Hope you guys have an awesome day, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.